Some of the African kingdom that rivaled Europe. 1. The Mali Empire, West Africa. Imagine a kingdom so rich that one man's journey crashed entire economies. This was the Mali Empire, one of the greatest civilizations Africa ever produced. The Mali Empire rose in the 13th century in West Africa, covering parts of modern-day Mali, Senegal, Guinea, and Niger. It was founded by Sundiata Keita, a warrior king who united rival clans and laid the foundation for a powerful empire. Mali controlled some of the world's richest gold mines. Gold flowed through trans-Saharan trade routes, connecting Africa to Europe and the Middle East. At a time when Europe struggled economically, Mali was thriving. In the 14th century, Mansa Musa ruled Mali. During his famous pilgrimage to Mecca, he gave away so much gold that he caused inflation in Egypt. To this day, historians call him the richest person who ever lived. Timbuktu became a global center of learning. Its universities and libraries held thousands of manuscripts on science, medicine, law, and astronomy, while much of Europe was still developing its education systems. The Mali Empire eventually declined, but its legacy remains. It proved Africa was wealthy, educated, organized, and powerful long before colonial rule. The Benin Kingdom. When people talk about ancient civilizations, they often mention Rome, Greece, or Egypt. But deep in West Africa, in present-day southern Nigeria, stood a kingdom so advanced that it shocked Europe. This was the Kingdom of Benin, a city of art, order, and power long before colonial rule. The Kingdom of Benin began around the 11th century, founded by the Edo people. At the center of its power was the Oba, a sacred king believed to rule with divine authority. Benin was not a small village, it was a highly organized empire with laws, royal courts, and professional guilds. Its capital, Benin City, was described by early European visitors as one of the most impressive cities in the world. Some even compared it to cities in Europe. Benin City was famous for its wide streets, massive earthen walls, and detailed urban planning. The city's walls, now known as the Benin Moats, stretched for thousands of kilometers, making them one of the largest man-made earthworks in human history. This wasn't chaos. This was civilization, African civilization. What truly made Benin legendary was its art. The Benin bronzes, intricate brass and bronze sculptures, recorded royal history, rituals, wars, and ceremonies. They were so detailed that when Europeans first saw them, they refused to believe Africans made them. But they did. These artworks proved that Benin mastered metal casting, storytelling, and historical documentation centuries before colonization. Benin traded with Portugal, Spain, and other European powers as early as the 15th century. They exchanged pepper, ivory, cloth, and art on their own terms. Benin was not conquered easily. It was respected, feared, and recognized. Until greed arrived. In 1897, British forces invaded Benin City in what became known as the Benin Punitive Expedition. The city was burned, thousands of artworks were stolen, and the Oba was exiled. The kingdom fell, but its legacy did not. Today, Benin bronzes sit in museums across Europe, sparking global calls for restitution and justice. The Kingdom of Benin reminds us that Africa had empires, intelligence, and innovation long before colonialism. This is not lost history. This is stolen history, and it deserves to be remembered. 3. The Ethiopia Empire. While most of Africa was colonized, one empire stood its ground. This is the story of Ethiopia, Africa's empire that refused to fall. The Ethiopian Empire traces its roots back over 2,000 years, to the ancient kingdom of Aksum, one of the world's great civilizations. Aksum traded with Rome, India, and Arabia, minted its own coins, and adopted Christianity in the 4th century, making Ethiopia one of the oldest Christian nations on earth. Ethiopia developed a unique culture, its own alphabet, calendar, and traditions. The rock-hewn churches of Lalibela, carved directly from stone, remain one of humanity's greatest architectural achievements. In the 19th century, European powers raced to divide Africa. Italy believed Ethiopia would be easy. In 1896, Emperor Menelik II led Ethiopian forces to victory at the Battle of Adwa, crushing the Italian army. It was the first time an African empire decisively defeated a European colonial power. Ethiopia became a global symbol of African resistance and black pride. For Africans and the African diaspora, Ethiopia proved that colonialism was not destiny. The Ethiopian Empire stood for centuries, independent, proud, and unbroken. This was not survival. This was sovereignty. For the Songhai Empire, West Africa. Before Europe dominated the world, West Africa was home to one of the largest and most powerful empires in history. This was the Songhai Empire. Songhai began as a small kingdom along the river Niger, with its capital at Gao. Its location made it rich from trade, connecting West Africa to North Africa and the Mediterranean world. In the 15th century, Sunni Ali transformed Songhai into an empire. He built a powerful navy, conquered key cities like Timbuktu and Jen, and unified vast territories through military strength. Feared by enemies and respected by his people, Sunni Ali laid the foundation for greatness. After Sunni Ali, Askia Muhammad took the throne. He reorganized the empire with governors, tax systems, and courts. Education flourished. Islamic scholars from across the world came to Songhai. Timbuktu became one of the greatest centers of learning on earth. Songhai controlled trade in gold, salt, and slaves, commodities Europe depended on. Its universities rivaled Europe's, and its laws brought order to millions. At its height, Songhai was larger than most European kingdoms. In 1591, Morocco invaded using gunpowder weapons. Despite bravery and numbers, Songhai could not defeat modern firearms. The empire collapsed, but not its legacy. At the Battle of Tondy Bai, Songhai's forces were shattered. Fear, confusion, and technology decided the battle. The empire never recovered. Cities fell. Trade collapsed. Songhai fragmented into smaller states, ending one of Africa's greatest empires. Songhai didn't fall because it was weak. It fell because the world was changing. Number 3. The Ashanti/Asante. In southern Ghana lives one of Africa's most powerful and respected traditional groups, the Ashanti, also called the Asante. The Ashanti are part of the larger Akan family and trace their roots to the forest regions of West Africa. In the late 1600s, under the leadership of King Osei Tutu, the Ashanti united several states into a strong empire, with Kumasi as its capital. At the center of Ashanti belief is the Golden Stool. According to tradition, it descended from the sky through the priest Okomfo Anakai. The stool represents the soul of the Ashanti people. No one sits on it, not even the king, because it symbolizes unity, identity, and life itself. The Ashanti were famous warriors. Armed with discipline and strategy, they resisted British colonization for decades. In 1900, Yasantawa, the Queen Mother of Ajisu, led a powerful war against the British, becoming one of Africa's greatest female resistance leaders. Ashanti culture is rich and colorful. Kent cloth, hand-woven with bold patterns, tells stories of leadership, history, and philosophy. Adinkra symbols communicate wisdom, bravery, and moral values. Drumming, dancing, and royal ceremonies remain central to Ashanti life. One of their most important festivals, Akwasiti, honors ancestors and celebrates the authority of the Asante Hene, the Ashanti king. Today, the Ashanti continue to shape Ghana's culture, language, and traditions. Their history is not just remembered, it is proudly lived.